What a strange and unsettling week it's been. I popped in here to Ardtray Church near Stewartstown in County Tyrone in the middle of the week, and I was struck by several things. First of all, the quietness of the place. It's always quiet up here. I was also struck by the beauty of the place and the view of the Sperrin Mountains that we enjoy outside the church door. But also, I was struck by the fact that we have so many books of different kinds scattered around the church building. We have Bibles, obviously, hymn books, prayer books. In the vestry room behind me, we have a collection of registers going back to the 1800s. Registers for funerals or for weddings or for baptisms or for confirmations. We also have a list of ministers going back to the year 1440. But we have this book that sits on the desk in the little vestry room behind me, and we just call it the Preacher's Book. And this one had its first entry in the 2nd of January 1972, and I filled in the last entry there until the book ran out just on Sunday past. And as I did so, I had this hunch that the church building may be empty for the foreseeable future because of what's happening around us. It's really hard because in times of uncertainty or in times of grief or in times of celebrations, for many people, church is the place they come to. They want to gather together as God's people. But let me reassure you that even though the church is closed to the public for the time being, I will certainly pop in to either Ardtray or Desecrate pretty much every day of the week, and certainly on Sundays, to pray for you and to keep us connected. We'll try to have the church bell rung every Sunday just as an audible reminder that we are still here. And even though we're not meeting within these four walls, even though we're pretty much confined to our homes, we are still called by God to be His church. Inside this collection of books we call the Bible, there's one book I am particularly fond of. It's from the Old Testament. We call it the Book of Psalms. Apparently the word psalm comes from a Greek word that describes the sound of a plucked instrument. And some of you know a big part of my life revolves around playing guitar. I'm one who loves the sound of a plucked instrument. But Psalms is, as far as I know, the only book in the Bible where the contents are written mostly to be sung rather than simply read. Just a few weeks ago, I started a project with some local primary schools, and it's based on the book of Psalms, and we're calling it Good Days and Bad Days, Songs in the Key of Life. And I borrowed that title from a Stevie Wonder album from the 1970s. You'll find all human life inside the book of Psalms. You'll find joy, you'll find grief, you'll find anger, you will find doubt, you will find uncertainty, you'll find worry, and you'll find fear. All human life is there. I came across recently Psalm 88, which was a psalm written during a time of questioning and doubts and fears. And after listing worries and complaints and accusations of all sorts, the writer finishes with these words: "Darkness is my closest friend." What a way to finish a song. Darkness is my closest friend. It's also a memorable way to begin a song, and Paul Simon used those words pretty much for a song back in the 1960s called The Sound of Silence. Hello darkness, my old friend. It struck me during the past week on a couple of occasions just how silent our town has become. Streets are quieter, shops are quieter, everything seems turned way down. And certainly the sounds inside these lovely old church buildings are going to be limited for the foreseeable future. And that silence is unnerving when you're not used to it. On the other hand, social media is not quite so quiet. It's buzzing and it's noisy. And so it's going to be really important in the weeks to come to be wise and to carefully filter the things that you read and listen to and watch on social media. But social media can share good things too. Just last week, someone wrote this thought that I found helpful. Faith in Jesus will not replace your fears. Instead, your faith will coexist with your fears and begin to quiet them. Your faith will coexist with your fears and begin to quiet them. That's a really important thing to remember when you have worrying days or sleepless nights, that fear will still make its presence known, but faith can coexist along beside it and help to quieten your fears. I want to tell you one more book-related story before I wrap up thoughts for today. I was browsing a bookshop in my hometown in Lisburn just about 2 weeks ago, and I stumbled on a book written by one David Bell, and the title was Gone for Good. And so looking at the book on the shelf, it simply read, David Bell, Gone for Good. Some of you are thinking, couldn't happen soon enough. Others, I wish. But on a more serious note, some of us are worried that maybe church is gone for good, or that life as we knew it is gone for good. Look, this thing will pass. Corona will come and go. It'll certainly leave its mark on many different levels, and life after it will, I'm pretty sure, be different. But life will go on. One important thing to remember is that as we journey through this really uncertain and fearful time, is that the word church in the Bible always refers to a group of people rather than to a building. And we're really fortunate at our Trent Desert Crate that we have these old, beautiful, well-kept buildings that we meet in to worship. But when it comes to the bit, church is people. And the place I'm recording this in today is simply our church building. I suppose in many ways, my friends who live and work and worship with me now are more than ever what you might call a church without walls. More than ever, we're going to have really clear opportunities to do the things that Jesus taught his first followers to do. To care for the poor, to look out for the sick, to keep an eye on those who might be hungry or struggling, and above all, to love our neighbour. Can I say thank you for listening today? Check us in with us whenever you can. Look out for each other. Love your neighbour. And if you pray, then please remember to pray for our health service workers who are on the front line. Please remember to pray for the sick. And please keep in your prayers those who are anxious and worried and fearful. And in the middle of it all, may faith coexist alongside our fears and quiet them. I'll plan to talk to you soon. Stay safe, look out for each other, and God bless you.